But they were so serious about bringing Rodgers in that Steelers brass skipped Michigan's pro day, which if you know the Steelers, that's a big deal. They love to send their cavalry to every big pro day. So the heavy hitters with the organization stood in town to meet with Rodgers, and certainly Russell Wilson or some other options aren't completely off the table for Pittsburgh, but they have shifted their focus over the last few weeks squarely on Rodgers, and they hope to get that done.
Peel back the curtain, I did ask Jeremy, when does a decision have to be made on Rodgers? He told me indefinitely, never. So we could wait this out for a very long time, although it seems like April 24th, the draft, would be a good time for a decision to be made on a quarterback there in Pittsburgh. Another domino in this quarterback web fell yesterday. Jameis Winston signing with the Giants on a 2-year deal. And so, Jeremy, what does this move indicate about the Giants' plan at quarterback with a 3rd pick in the draft?
Well, the Giants feel like they at least have a bridge option. I'm told this doesn't necessarily take Aaron Rodgers out of the equation, but it's the belief league-wide that the Giants have been in that sort of number 2 seat for Rodgers all along. The Pittsburgh's been the focus, but they are still sort of in the mix there as a potential option. So, and look, I've talked to people who think that the Giants could sign 2 free agent quarterbacks, that hasn't been totally off the table because of their dire need there at the position. They went into the last few weeks with really just having Tommy DeVito as a exclusive rights free agent that they could pick up. And so there's not much there in the quarterback room. Even if they draft somebody, they need reinforcement. So they have Winston in the fold. Could sign somebody else. Russell Wilson, he's considered the Giants a viable option for a while now. We'll see if that Winston signing changes things for him.
Okay. And as of right now, with the 3rd pick in the draft, the thought is that Shedeur Sanders would go to New York. We will see. How about the Steelers and the Giants? They were options for free agent quarterback Russell Wilson. What did Friday's developments mean now for where Russell Wilson could end up?
Well, as far as other wild cards for Wilson outside of the Giants, I did hear that the Steelers have not taken them off their list. It just appears that he's been sort of number 3 behind Justin Fields, who they've tried to sign a few weeks ago, who went to the Jets, and then now Rodgers. So it feels like that relationship has ended after 1 year in the black and gold, but we'll see. It's not totally off the table at this point. And then the Cleveland Browns loom large here. They had Russell Wilson in for a visit last week. There is some interest from the Browns in bringing Russell Wilson in with a contingency plan of like a Carson Wentz or another free agent. And then, of course, they're picking second overall. They can draft a quarterback. But Wilson still has at least 2 hands in the fire with Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And then the Giants, he's considered an option for a while now. We'll see what changes there.
All right, we'll keep an eye on all of these quarterbacks as the tables continue to rotate and turn with these quarterbacks. Jeremy Fowler with the latest. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Well, Saquon knew something, or Jameis knew something, or everybody knew something, because it would appear Saquon Barkley has manifested exactly that. Start spreading the news is the tweet from Jameis Winston yesterday. And as Scooby pointed out, the W is capitalized, which means it's time to get some dubs. The Giants need that in a big way. File this under informative. Jeremy Fowler, open up the Fowler Files, is with us on SportsCenter AM. Listen, safe to say Jameis is not going to be in Pittsburgh's plans moving forward. Yeah. They're still holding out hope that this man is. What's the latest after Aaron Rodgers spent 6 hours with Pittsburgh yesterday?
Yeah, Randy, he spent all day there. Just more of a get-to-know exploratory session. They weren't talking hard numbers. They've already got a contract offer standing out to Rodgers in place. So they talked about fit. He met with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin, owner Art Rooney, GM Omar Khan. In fact, I was told the Steelers wanted to make this meeting happen so much they skipped Michigan's pro day yesterday, which if you know the Steelers, that's a big deal. Their whole contingent goes to every big pro day. So they stood in town to meet with them. And look, I checked with the team sources, said they're aggressively pursuing this. He's number 1 on their radar. Russell Wilson not totally off the list, but they would like to try to make this happen.
That dovetails nicely. All right, Mr. Unlimited seems to have now limited options there moving forward. Where does this leave Russell Wilson?
He's still got a few, not totally off Pittsburgh's list. Still in the mix with the Giants. He's looked at the Giants as a viable option for a while now, and despite that Winston signing, my sense is the Giants have looked at signing 2 free agent quarterbacks, and then they can still draft one. They are really just starting from scratch on their quarterback room. Cleveland still has interest in Russell Wilson, so several options still in the air for the former Pro Bowler. The key with a lot of these, with players with pedigree and a little bit of age, you got to work out a contract that's sort of commensurate with their skill set. That could be an issue with some of these teams, but he's going to have options. He should have one of the seats in these musical chairs of quarterbacks.
Okay, so to be clear, the Jameis Winston signing does not preclude them from bringing in Russell Wilson to the Giants.
Or Rodgers, actually, I was told. So they're still not totally out of it on Rodgers. They're not the favorite. and they kind of know it. I think the Giants are getting a little impatient, but still in the mix.
Almost cussed on TV. All right, keeping it with the QBs, Cam Ward's pro day is Monday.
Yeah.
You mentioned Pittsburgh skipping Michigan's pro day. Tennessee's probably not going to skip this. They have the first pick in the draft. What are their plans?
Yeah, the Titans certainly will have their cavalry over there at the pro day, and the sense around the league is that there is some momentum for Cam Ward at number 1 overall. Now, the Titans have not made a firm determination. They want to go through a very thorough process leading into the end of this month and early April to find out who their guy is. But I was told in the interview process, Cam Ward acquitted himself well with the Titans. They felt like he was good at identifying mistakes and how to correct them, and that he's going to be coachable, and he's already got the upside with the ability. So, there's some good vibes there between Ward and the Titans right now. They would love to trade back in a perfect world, or at least that's been a thought, and still get the quarterback they want. That could be tough in this draft, so it's possible they just stay put, get the best quarterback. The sense around the league is he has separated himself from the rest of this class at that position. At
the quarterback position, all right, the first round of the NFL draft, April 24th on ESPN. Jeremy Fowler, not as intimidating as I told Scooby he was.
Available to beef up some rosters as we welcome back Jeremy Fowler and Bill Barnwell. Let's start with the Packers. Jeremy, you reported that Mecole Hardman was signing with Green Bay. It's not exactly the proven number 1 that Josh Jacobs said that young receiving core needs. So what are you hearing about them possibly adding some threats?
Yeah, the Packers do not appear hot on any of the free agents right now. They typically look draft, and in 3 of the last 4 drafts, they've picked a receiver on day 2. That's their MO, second or third round. They typically don't go in the first round for that position, but I certainly expect them to be potentially active there over the next 2 months to look for a young wide receiver. They also have to figure out Romeo Doubs' future. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's proven at times to be sort of like a 1A for them, maybe not a true number 1, but a reliable option. Missed some time last year. Do they pay him, or he would have a trade market if they wanted to look into that?
Bill, who do you think that Green Bay should go after to help improve their passing attack?
I'll look to the draft, as Jeremy mentioned, of Matthew Golden, the University of Texas wide receiver, because of what he adds to their roster. I think they need some downfield speed, someone who's going to threaten teams vertically. He ran a 4.29 at the combine. Feels like a Texas receiver every year runs some crazy number at the combine. It was Golden this year with the 4.29. But he's not just a gadget guy. Hardman's more of a gadget guy. Golden can work at all 3 levels. I think he has some, ability to develop here. And as Jeremy mentioned, this is a Packers receiving core that's kind of in flux. Not only is Romeo Doubs a free agent after the year, but Christian Watson, who's out with the torn ACL right now, is as well. Normally, Watson's their speed guy. Maybe Golden steps in for Green Bay.
All right, so Stephon Diggs, he's the biggest name remaining among free agents. What are you hearing about his market so far?
Yeah, Christine, he should still be in New England right now. He came on a free agent visit, got there yesterday, met with some Patriots folks. The key is the physical that he will take today. Because of that torn ACL, he's coming back off that, missed, of course, half the season. When will he be back? How much can he participate in off-season workouts? But the Patriots have scoured the earth for receiver help. They were prepared to pay Chris Godwin big money had he gotten to them in free agency. He ended up re-signing with the Bucs. So they're looking at players like Diggs. Tyler Lockett, I know, is on their radar as well. They're also looking for some trade options for something that might work for them down the road.
Anything from Bill? Okay.
Yeah, I think about another receiver who's possibly available is Amari Cooper, the wide receiver who is a free agent. And I really wonder if there's a fit for him elsewhere, and maybe a place he was in years past. That's with the Dallas Cowboys, where Amari Cooper was a big physical receiver. They haven't had that guy on the outside in years past. They got rid of Cooper, of course. Michael Gallup was re-signed. He didn't really work out. Brandon Cooks they traded for. That didn't really work out. And so bringing Amari Cooper in, I think gives you that kind of that physical outside receiver they don't have, with CeeDee Lamb being the guy in the interior. I think teams know, hey, if we double CeeDee Lamb, they don't have a guy who can win one-on-one on the outside. Amari Cooper could be that guy for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, so Amari Cooper, as you mentioned, he's looking for a new destination after his brief run ended in Buffalo. Who do you think Cooper should bring into his facility? Sorry, who should bring Cooper into their facility? Sorry.
Yeah, I would say Dallas, I think, is the team that makes sense. And I go back to that game I saw from him a couple years ago when he was playing on the Browns against the Houston Texans. He went for it, and this is not enough, 265 yards in one game. One of the single most impressive performances we've seen from any receiver over the last few years. And we saw him win on the outside in that game, win downfield, win in multiple situations. And that's what I think the Cowboys need. CeeDee Lamb is a great route runner. He's just not that guy who's